Time now to take a check on the top stories making the front pages of the French newspapers this Monday with Nicholas Rushworth. Hi there.
Hi to you, Kat.
And we're going to start off with a story that's made for some very dramatic pictures on our screens this weekend and some very uncomfortable hours for quite a lot of people. We're talking about the snow in France.
Well, at this time of year, they say, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. That
Exactly.
Great song among many songs that we have at this time of year. Of course, that is not the feeling for those 15,000 or so French people and others, of course, stuck on the roads as they're going into the Alps. Le Parisien, aujourd'hui en France, is leading on this. And it's sort of there you can see saying it's a nightmare for them. And there you can see people in a temporary shelter on camp beds. So a disaster, really, if you're going on your holiday between Christmas and New Year in France. That's the front page of the paper today.
Of course, this did come in a region that's very much used to getting snow. These people, a lot of them, were going on snow holidays, weren't they? Skiing and snowboarding. So one might ask, why was there so much chaos in a place where really this could have been expected?
Well, of course, that is the question too for that same paper, Le Parisien aujourd'hui en France. Why this chaos? And yes, it says, yes, access to the Alps is very difficult because there's not so many roads to go along. But it points the finger. The real problem, it says, is the motorists themselves, the silly billies, if you like. And the quote for them is the Transport Ministry here in France saying, well, what happened? People were caught with heavy snowfall on that moment Saturday as they're heading upwards towards the resorts. And what happens? They get their manual out, put those snow chains on, and are reading it on the side of the road. Other ones are saying, well, I don't know how to put the snow chains on, but I'll have a go. And so they're putting their snow chains on. And other people are continuing not putting their snow chains on. You have a collective behaviour problem. That's the quote from the...
Well, a lot of those people were saying that they weren't told by the authorities to put the snow chains on their tyres.
It's a blame game, isn't it? And of course, that collective behaviour problem is the quote that stands out for Le Parisien aujourd'hui en France. Another great word that I spotted in that article was, it's a bazaar. You know, this is a great big mess, really. So lots of questions about the whole snow problems over the weekend, and which are continuing, of course. Still with that paper, let's have a look at another article in it about the Ruskies, the Russians who are heading to the ski slopes. And are they going to be there? Because there you can see the headline, Courchevel attend ses Russes.
A very posh resort, isn't it, Courchevel?
Very posh. And very rich Russians, that article is saying, are going to be able to go. They have booked because they're escaping the fall of the ruble, which has been dramatic, as we know. But the people in Russia who come regularly, about 80,000 of them come each year to the French Alps. So some of them who are less better off are really being hit by the ruble, and certain resorts are waiting for them to come, and they're not sure if they're going to come. So one of the interesting stories there. In that
Not very clear if anyone can actually make it there at all as things go on like this. Well, we'll turn from weather turmoil to political turmoil. Not here in France. We're talking about Greece.
Well, this is Le Figaro. This is the front page of Le Figaro. And there you can see La crise politique grecque inquiète l'Europe. And what normally, don't we, Catherine, on a Monday morning, we have French politics and the turmoil of all that. But instead, what we've got now is Greece, which, of course, in the 2008 financial crisis really came centre stage. And this is all about this whole question of what will happen now that there's uncertainty over what president will be in place in the country, and will there be early snap elections in the coming weeks? And if so, will the hard left leader, Alexis Tsipras, come to power? If so, that really throws a question mark, doesn't it, over the whole of the EU reform process for bringing Greece back from the brink. So that paper there saying it's a real problem. Its editorial this Monday, Catherine, is exactly about that subject, saying Péril à Athènes, so danger in Athens, the risk in Athens. And it says that once again, Athens has brought the whole of Europe to the edge with another crisis about instability, its political instability. And it points out, as far as it's concerned, remember this is a right-wing paper, saying that what we've got here is the rise of Eurosceptic parties, among them the Syriza, which is the party of Alexis Tsipras. So obviously several parties in several countries around the EU really fueling their anger against the EU.
And we'll just finish with Libération. Now, they're looking at something that's been used for several weeks now, hasn't it? This hacking scandal at Sony. Is North Korea involved, isn't it?
Well, there you can see the front page of LIBYA, and they have brilliant front pages, don't they? Usually, and that's an excellent one of a grenade, which is also a typewriter. Now, a keyboard, there you can see it, hacking la faute. So it says, well, have we jumped to conclusions too quickly? Did the American authorities come out too quickly to say that North Korea, Pyongyang, was responsible for the Sony Pictures Company attack? And it says, well, it actually trawls through lots of American articles and concludes that there is no certainty about who did this. And what we've got really is rule number 1 for hackers: hide your trace. Rule number 2, leave a false trail if you can. That's a basic. So they're really putting the question mark over.
Are they teaching us how to hack in Libération?
Well, they would probably do one day, but it's not
controversial.
Just to finish, still with that paper, we've got the whole question of Afghanistan, haven't we, now, with the NATO troops leaving, and it goes through what it says is 13 years of failure, lack of coordination, problems with corruption in the country, the whole question of just the sheer scale of the tribal complications in the country that really hampered the NATO operation. And I'll be having more about that in my look at the international papers in a couple of hours or so, Catherine. There you can see that paper there, Libération, 13 years of failure for NATO.
Certainly a very big international story as this year ends. We'll get more on that with you, like you say, later on. Thanks very much for now. Nicholas Rushworth, our newspaper reviewer there.